interesting to see which setup Magnus chooses here against the classical Arete, because there are so many different ways that you can play with h3, you can play with c4, you can play with h3, c4, you can play with d4, you can play with d3 and then queen e1, e4. I mean, will be very interesting to see what will happen. It's
Peter, I'm going to excuse myself for 2 minutes and I'll be right back and join you.
Yeah, good. So, I mean, we talked about Arete and Magnus goes h3. Yeah, Magnus includes this h3, bishop h5. There are two different concepts also for black after h3, that you can take on f3, give up the pair of bishop and then go, for example, with e5. But still, it's not such a comfortable line. I mean, usually black wants to keep his bishop, and you see here I'm going for bishop h5.
Two great draws by these big fighters, and what is happening on this game?
Yeah, it was the classical Arete, h3, bishop h5, c4 played, and after e6, Magnus goes d4. Yeah, it's a very principled line at the moment. Black opted for bishop e7, knight c3, short castle, trying to run away as quickly as possible. Now Magnus opted for knight e5, knight fd7, cd5, knight takes e5, d takes e5, and now the big question is, how does black recapture? I mean, somehow c takes d5 would be much more natural. I mean, cd5 looks like the normal move, because if you take with the e-pawn, then somehow one feels that after f4, the bishop in h5 can be a target.
G4, F4 ideas, just really blocking that bishop out on G6. So I would agree with you, C takes D5 also gives this additional option to develop the knight from C6.
Yeah, now the big question is what Magnus has in store for us, because normally if you commit the move C takes D5, you have a clear plan, yeah, because CD automatically would be such a nice achievement for black, as you highlighted. Yeah, the knight can jump to C6. But I'm not really understanding what Magnus really wants here. And neither our evaluation bar. Also, evaluation bar is struggling to understand Magnus's idea.
I mean, the dream usually in these positions is for white to also try and get the e4 break, right? Because you want to dissolve those double pawns and open up that bishop on g2.
But how do we get there? Yeah, because then we have to.
That's a great question.
Yeah, we have to play g4, but also the typical problem after bishop g6 e4 is that black has the move d4. And
but Peter, this might be something, because what if we put pressure on this pawn, let's say knight b5, and then you have to defend it, and then you don't care, I can sense, but what if now you go completely crazy with f4?
Yeah, I mean you have to, but this is not yet trapping the bishop. Yeah, I have h6 and then f5, bishop h7 falling back, and then the structure on e5 will collapse. It's a very double-edged kind of position. I don't think that Magnus wants to count on something so complex, and
Liem is having a long think at this moment after here d takes e5 with what he wants to recapture with. We come back and check in on
and he takes e5. I just don't understand.
Wow.
I mean, it feels like he believed Magnus. Yeah, he was sensing some danger, but I mean, any danger for your bishop after cd is much better than.
the other leader. So it's a lot of excitement at the top of the standings.
Yeah, and for the position, Liam is trying to survive.
That seems about... I mean, is he really? He's got a piece for 2 pawns, 3 pawns.
Yeah, but okay, now the pawn on b4 is kind of hanging, it's
hanging, and none of the pawns are really moving any further now, for a while at least.
Yeah, but okay, white has lovely construction, so just even if he starts pushing some f5, e4, it's only white who can be better, it's the dark square bishop is a monster. On the other hand, Magnus wants a lot from this game, he had a wonderful position. I think he would be, and he's done, both players done to a minute. Okay, this is dramatic.
And maybe white has a clear idea. For example, go g5, go f5, go f6. So black needs to make sure that white's pawns don't arrive on the 6th rank. Just a sample line. Start with f5 or g5, and if knight f4, for example, f5, knight into b4, then go g5, and suddenly f6 is coming in, and that can be really dangerous for black.
Yeah, so maybe h6. No, he takes knight b4 anyway. I mean, he has to take.
And maybe we might be seeing this. We might be. It's on the board. And did you see
and
the
rook
eval
d8 finish? Blunder.
That is it.
Blunder. Rook d8. Rook b8, rook d8. Blunder. Wait, checkmate.
And that's it. That's a cold shower. That is a cold shower. I mean, I don't know what was the right move after g5, but rook b5 loses on the spot.
Yeah, well, after you mentioned that you want to follow up f5 in g5, that's it. Liam resigns. It's a total shock. Maybe he should have played the move h6 just to create some loof, stopping g5. But okay, Magnus would probably then. It's anyway very, very unpleasant position. But,
get e4, and after knight b4, go e5 and f6. So definitely unpleasant, but we saw the eval bar, things were fine. But Peter, rook b5.